Welcome to the ATX Pest Podcast, episode 7. So, I'm actually out walking my dog right now. I figured, why not do a quick little podcast? It's been a lot of rain this past week. Mosquitoes are going to start coming out. Lucky I already did a podcast on that. Y'all have questions on that, feel free to give me a call, of course. But today, I figured I would shed some light on a particular pest that really can be looked at as a beneficial pest, but they're really scary looking and people freak out about them. We actually had 2 calls today, and that means it's going to continue for the next month or so. Happens every year. So if y'all ever listen to that whining chirp sound at nighttime, right at dusk, and all night throughout the night, it's really obnoxious, especially if you live in an area with a lot of tree cover and whatnot in your yard. Cicadas. A loud clicking sound. So they're they're harmless. They just make a lot of noise. You'll see those little exoskeleton like sheds that they leave behind. Sometimes they're stuck on the side of the brick of your home or on a tree. I actually think they're kind of cool, but they don't bother me. I actually enjoy the noise. Reminds me I'm not in the city. I love them when every year when they're at my house. I'll sit on the back patio and just listen to them for hours. Doesn't bother me a bit, but I understand. Everyone has different triggers and whatnot. And for those that don't really care for that, well then, this guy here I'm about to talk about, it's probably your new best friend, and that is the cicada killer. I don't know if not everyone's seen them or heard of them before. I actually was in a basketball tournament years ago, had a team, and we named our team the Cicada Killers, actually, because I've always thought they were pretty cool. They're relentless. They're very difficult to kill, which is being ex-military. I like that about them. But the wasps. They get their common name from the fact that it hunts and provisions each of its nest cells with a cicada as food for the young. So essentially what they're doing is they're going and killing these jokers, bringing them down. That's where you'll see that burrow in the sand, the dirt in your yard. That's the real negative. Obviously, that's the issue that people have with them more than anything. Actually, I should have prefaced that with this, but they make all those bloody holes in your ground, and they can make quite a mess actually. So, of course, from the landscape aspect, yard appeal, they're a bummer for sure for that. But you can fix that after time, and not that big a deal, but it does look bad for the time being when they're active. But that's usually only like a month or month and a half out of the year that they're really active, and they'll be going full force for a couple weeks or so. We'll get a lot of calls, and then it just they dwindle off and disappear after a couple months usually. So, but anyways, they kill. That's all they do. That's their goal in life. That's their mission. That's their lot in life. Their lot in life is to kill cicadas and feed their young. Okay, so for those that don't like them, cicadas, that's your new best friend. And they usually select like a bare area of ground around a structure as a nesting site. So they like that softer soil as well. So keep that in mind when if you have a lot of dirt, it's best to keep your landscape up with grass and sod and whatnot, because it's going to be less attractive they're going to be less attracted to your property if you don't have all that bare ground. And I do have a lot of bare ground, and I get a few of them, but it's never really that bad, to be honest. at my house for some reason or another. Um, my area is rocky. I haven't really found that really matters all that much. There's plenty of people. I know in Sun City subdivision near here in Georgetown, um, we've helped out a few people. Now, when I say that we've helped out, there really isn't a there's a protocol for it. It's not something that any pest control company will warranty. Quite frankly, no one's ever usually very effective. I know of a couple products that we've utilized to treat them, and we've had some pretty good success with them, but it's hit or miss. We can eliminate a lot of them, but even just directly treating their burrow hose, um, honestly, it just it's not necessarily always effective. Um, usually the go-to is like dusting them with a particular dust that we use that most of us companies all utilize, and sometimes you can use some aerosol. We have some success utilizing our special treatment at my company with because we have our patented foam treatments. We actually foam in those burrow holes, which was just fun to try to begin with, and we've had some success with that. But for the most part, get over it. It's what we kind of tell people. The seasonal, they're nasty looking. Trust me, they're big. They look scary. You think they're gonna sting you, but they are extremely non-aggressive by nature. I have never heard of anybody ever getting stung by one. And if you were going to get stung by one, it because you're walking around barefooted on your lawn, when they're active, and you're just stupid to walk around in Texas barefooted in your lawn. I don't care if you have pest control or not. I'm not walking around barefooted outside. Um, and I own a darn pest control company. So um, put sandals on at least, put some shoes on. Don't let your children run around barefooted. That'd be a good rule to follow with that. You're going to get bitten by something. So try to avoid that. But a little bit about them more here. They're solitary wasps, meaning that they operate alone. Okay, they're not colonized. They're not going to live. They're not a social insect living together. Okay, um, let's see. I don't remember everything off the top of my head, so I'm reading a little bit of facts here that I wrote down. Um, many of them will fly over a lawn and they use the same general area for nesting purposes when they're speaking about. Um, they can be either females or males as adults. Believe it or not, that's not always the case, so that's pretty interesting. Um, they do not, obviously, I said they're solitary. They operate alone, so they don't share nests at all. They're burrow holes. They usually have an exit too as well, so they can have multiple holes going on for just one wasp. Each female digs her own burrow, and so the sides are about a half inch in diameter, and they may extend up to 10 inches deep actually. So they go quite a few ways, and I think that's what I'm getting at. Maybe that's why I don't have quite the issue at my house, and maybe my neighbors don't, because we're pretty rocky here by Russell Park, where I live in Georgetown. It's obviously really rocky for anyone that's been over in this area or lives around here. You can testify to that. In a second, I got a car going by. So I walk my dog in here to try to chase it. Come on, Winston. So pretty interesting here. Let me see. Usually, they mention that they emerge. So they typically overwinter in a burrow. Believe it or not, they pupate in the spring, and they emerge as adults during the summer, and that's usually in July and August. Now, this is in general from like the nation when they make this statement in general. But in the South, like Texas, obviously we're a lot warmer, faster, earlier in the year. So, April, May, definitely into May and June, you can start seeing them. It's not uncommon. June usually, May. It just depends on humidity and weather and, how warm it's gotten. But we've already reached, 80 some degrees. So it's not surprising that they're out right now, and it's damp and wet. And so it makes it a little easier for them to burrow too. So that's a bonus for them. Um, a little bit easier for them to work on that. So habits, typically areas, they just I wrote these notes down, kind of a little repetitive on a couple things. Of course, we like bare sandy soil, obviously for nesting sites. We already kind of mentioned that. Um, while digging the burrows, the females excavate a sizable pile of soil, which can be disfiguring to the lawn. And I touched on that, but um, that's what it looks like. A little sizable pile. You think that maybe a skunk or something has been digging. People think that all the time, but like I said, these are the burrow hole that I mentioned before. The diameter is only about a half an inch, and you can just kind of see the digging and how they dug out that burrow hole, and you'll see that dirt kind of extend a few inches back from that hole. And it's pretty. They all look pretty uniform actually too. Um, so control them, they always mention the things that I mentioned, you know, utilizing dusting the burrow holes. You can use aerosols and different stuff like that. If you're DIYer and you're going to try to, use something like a contact kill like Raid, you can try that. Um, I would personally get the foaming type one, but then there's something to be said. Sometimes that's not enough concentration on it. You have, as far as the active ingredient goes, it may not be hot enough, so to speak. But the theory is with the foam, like at my company, the reason we use foam is because we suffocate bugs, and we don't even use hardly any insecticide in our foaming treatment. So it's really green, and that's a good choice. So you can try that yourself. Um, you know, Definitely call me for tips and everything. But if you want to sign up on a pest control service, I'll try for free to help that along with signing up on a service other than. But if you just want someone to just come and try to service those, don't call me. I'm not going to take your money because I can't. I'm not going to. I'm not going to take someone's money where I can't really guarantee something, and no good company should do that. So you can ask your companies if you have a company already to you know try to help you out. A lot of them are going to probably say no, though. Unfortunately, my customers, I typically go out and we'll try, and we're not really going out of our way, and because it costs money for us to go, but if we're in the area and we have time, we don't mind stopping by. Or obviously, if we're going to do their service and they notice it, well, then we're there already, and so we'll put some effort into that to try to give them some um, relief on that for sure, and give them some tips and stuff. So that's basically about it. I rambled on a little bit. I probably didn't really get the point across exactly everything I wanted to mention, but um, Winston wants to go in. Mama's home now, so he's hungry, and he wants to go see his little brother Louie, his little 4-pound brother. Winston now, he's a Jack Russell Chihuahua mix, I guess. Found him out eating deer corn out in the yard years ago. I've had him probably about 5-6 years now. So he was a rescue. Someone left him out here for dead. Um, he was chipped and everything. But anyways, we lost a couple of our other dogs that we had, his couple partners within the last 2 years. And then when our oldest dog, Bubba, passed away, he was 17 as my baby. I got Mama a new little dog, and his name's Louie. And he's fully grown dog. He's going to be 2 years old July 1st, and he's all of 4 pounds, and he's the cutest little dog. She works for an eye doctor in Round Rock and runs the office there, and she brings them to work every single day. Cool thing about that is all the patients go there. Even Nolan Ryan and his wife go there, and they know Louie. They all love Louie over there. So pretty cool stuff. I had to throw that out because we're sports fans. But anyways, but the all the patients, they'll drive by just to drop off a toy for Louie, and they're not even on schedule to get their eye exam that day or even purchase any glasses. They just drop by to see him, so which is pretty cool. So he's kind of become the mascot. I think that they're gonna end up putting him on the website one of these days. He's gonna have his own little bio on there, which is pretty cool. I might do that for my company someday with Winston, since he's at work with me every day. So we'll see. He just looked at me. He's like, "Yeah, get me inside." He's looking at 25 deer that I see coming in our yard right now, which is pretty cool to see. But they tear up the yard, though, is the only problem. And guess what? Where they're tearing up the yard's all bare dirt. I'm probably gonna have a bunch of damn cicada killers out there soon, but at least they're kind of far away on an acre property, so that's a good thing. But anyways, like always, feel free to give me a call. Happy to chat when I can find some time. 512-588-2998 is the office number. Don't mind answering some questions, or you can email me at welcome@evofoampest.com. evofoam, FOAM, pest.com. Drop us a line there. If I don't get it right to it, somebody will forward to me, and I will for sure get in touch with you and answer any questions, or even give you a phone call if that's what you want. Glad to help out in any way I can. So, like always, appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned to the next episode 8 next week. Y'all be good.